I came to Georgia for a week, and I'm in Tbilisi for a couple of days maybe, but I actually haven't slept here. I just sleep in Rustavi because I have some friends there, but during the day I'm in Tbilisi, and I've seen just like the center, Didube, like the mountain, not mountains, there's like a big park when you go up. I forgot the name. For me, it's like the most eastern city I've been to, so it's like the first like sort of chaotic city that I've been to, because like I've never been, like I've traveled a lot, I've been to many cities, but this is like the first city I've been to where like it's actually like scary to cross the street. You have like cars driving, and like the pedestrian, like people are less important than the driver, so you have to like look around, and then like it's just hard to cross the street for me, but for people living here, they just like just go, and it's fine for them. Second thing is like it's interesting how you have like these ladies everywhere selling like spices, cigarettes, and they're like everywhere. Absolutely, that's something I like, because it's easy to find something. Like I lost something like my charger, and I didn't have to go to a special store. I just every minute there's somebody selling like some electronics, adapters, whatever. One thing I do love the most is the people, for sure, because I don't have a phone here, for example, and I just have some numbers written down. Anytime I just want to call somebody, I ask somebody if I can use their phone, and they're like, yeah, sure, it's fine, I can help you. Or even if I ask for directions or whatever, they're very helpful. So that's another thing I like. I do like the food. There's a great place here actually where I eat. It's on Liberty Square. It's cheap Georgian food. I think like my go-to food is hachapuri. It's I don't know if you know it. It's like some like cheese pie. But yesterday I've tried something that's really good. It's like some pork sort of cutlet, sort of like mielona. I don't know the Georgian word, and it was like served with potatoes, and like it was like it's good hangover food. I was also in Kutaisi, and well, you still have it here. Like the cars, they have a lot of old like Soviet cars that I haven't really seen before. I mean, I've seen pictures of them, or maybe one or two, like just in my country, because I'm living in Poland now, which was also like sort of like communist at one point, but you don't have the Soviet cars there anymore. It also surprised me how there's like you have the exchange places here, like everywhere, every like 5 meters or 10 meters you can like exchange American dollars and euro, which is kind of weird for me. Like how my friend said you buy a car with dollars here and not like the Georgian currency, or like you pay for rent with American dollars. That was also surprising for me. Or I really like how there's like random things on the street, like you can weigh yourself with 20 tetri. It's just very, very odd, but at the same time I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it's just people like trying to find ways to make extra money. In Georgia, just a week. So in Tbilisi I've been like a couple of days. The one thing that I don't like, in some areas it's just very crowded, like Didube for example. You have people everywhere, and it's just loud, and you just want to get some peace and quiet and sit down for a while, and it's hard to do that in some areas of Tbilisi. Everyone is very friendly. Like I've had this on one time, like I was on the marshrutka from Rustavi to Tbilisi, and I asked this girl like, how can I get to this cafe, and I like showed her the address, and she actually like took me straight to the cafe. Like she like walked with me and showed me where the cafe was, and I think it was like very, very nice of her and helpful, and that's what I like here. No, actually not a lot. Even some young people don't speak English. It's kind of tough, especially in the center. It's better, but if you go a bit outside of the center, it's really hard to communicate if you don't know Georgian or Russian. I think it's very cheap actually. Some things are actually more expensive than what I'm used to, for example like eggs or milk. But most things like cigarettes, especially transportation like taxis, marshrutkas. The interesting thing about food is that, like, for example, fast food like McDonald's or Wendy's. Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to say. Like, I was surprised that Wendy's is here because it's like American, and it's not in like a lot of European countries, but it's in Georgia, which is just like surprising to me because it would just seem like how Georgia like would have less of these things. But anyways, like fast food costs like the same as like Poland, where I'm living right now, or even more. But you can get really cheap food at like Georgian like restaurants or like street food. Like you can get a hot dog for 1 lari, which is almost nothing, or you can get other like popcorn for 10 tetri. So I think it's good in the sense that if you're like a budget traveler, you'll have a great time. But if you like manage to save up some more money, and you'll also have a great time here because there's like a lot of like great restaurants and whatever.
What about expenses for lodging?
Actually, I've only paid for 1 night, and that was in Kutaisi. So I don't know how much it costs in Tbilisi because I have friends in Eurasia and they just hosted me. So I'm not sure. I think it's probably like from 10 to 30 lari, like for hostels.
So you don't know?
I know it's like between 10 and 30. Like I've heard from people and friends.
So it starts from 350.
350, yeah. Oh, that's really cheap. But yeah, I haven't stayed here, so I can't really like say if it's. I've heard it's also loud, so that's also a bad thing. Like it's kind of hard to sleep.
How do you find the weather over here?
Weather? I've only been here for a week, so I can't tell if it's like a nice week or if it's like normal. But like in Poland, where I'm living now, in winter it's usually gray and it's just depressing. But here it's been sunny every day. I don't think it's been raining at all in Tbilisi. Only when I was in Kutaisi it was raining for a day. It's also pretty warm. It's like 5 degrees. Maybe in the night it's a bit chilly, but besides that it's okay.
How do you find architecture here?
It depends on the place because sometimes there's like brick buildings here, like there's like red brick on the exterior, and I like that a lot. But sometimes, especially outside the center, there's a lot of even in the center you have like a lot of like buildings that are like falling apart and it's very run down. I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing. It depends how you look at it. I mean, it sort of has its own like character to it. I was thinking of it, but I was talking to my friends and they said it's only good if you like rent it out with your friends, because if you go like to a public place, you have like a lot of naked Georgian men, and it kind of ruins the experience. But I haven't tried it. I like it a lot, but I think if I lived here, it would be like it's something that I'd start to hate because it's just very. Well, the good thing about it is like there's always a bus and you can catch it everywhere. Or a marshrutka, you don't have to be at a bus stop. You can just sort of like stick your hand out. But it's also like less comfortable because sometimes there's like no spots in the bus and you have to like stand up and there's like nowhere like to hold on to really, and it's just very crowded and it's a bit chaotic. I was on the subway as well, you call it metro here. I think it was pretty normal. I mean, it was a bit old, but there was nothing wrong about it. It was nice how it said like how much time there is for the next subway, because like when I was in like certain like Western countries like Canada or something, they didn't have a feature like that.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Toronto and Warsaw. Like I'm Polish and Canadian. I'm both. It's hard to explain because people always like expect one answer, and then like people are like, so are you from Poland or Canada? And I tell them like I'm from here and here. So I started in Kutaisi. It's the second biggest city in Georgia, but it's a bit poor, but at the same time it's really cheap. You can get cheap beer or cha-cha. I took a marshrutka then to Tbilisi. It's only 10 lari. And I was also in Rustavi. It's just an old Soviet city. There's not really much there. It's just old buildings. And the most beautiful place I've been to was Kazbegi. It's in the mountains. It's very high up, and you can walk up to this church where monks pray and I think live there. And the view is just very beautiful. So I recommend everybody to go to Kazbegi. I've heard good things about like Gori or Batumi, Mestia, but